proudly presents the Wrestling is Real podcast, because wrestling needs us. Brought to you by KingofAmazon.com. Go to KingofAmazon.com when you do your shopping for Amazon to help the King of Podcasts. Shop for Amazon at KingofAmazon.com.
So there probably won't be a whole lot I'll talk about tonight because WrestleMania Off-Season is here and we're still in the pandemic. So we're going to get what we can out of this. I'm not going to go and waste a whole lot of people's time. These might just be about 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes long at the most because of how things are going to work out. But for what it's worth, WrestleMania, we did get a number of matches that were fulfilling. Let's just say WrestleMania was a fulfilling experience overall. And what they did on Raw Monday night didn't really matter too much. And obviously the ratings don't make much of a difference. And, you know, it's all going to be pandemic related. All of it is. But the one thing I must say that I got to give credit to a lot of these wrestling companies is they're finding creative ways to keep themselves going. When you look at what happened just this week, so Raw's been taping episodes. They were taping all the way up to the Wednesday NXT show that just ran tonight. Then AEW's been taping from QT Marshall's gym in Atlanta, Georgia. Impact Wrestling had tapings from Sam's Town, Las Vegas, and they have other tapings coming as well. And they're gonna, you know, it's really, they've had new content ever since. Ring of Honor, unfortunately, don't have anything much else because of their situation. So archive content has been their name of the game. MLW is going to be running content from shows that were done in Mexico right at the end of the, right when the pandemic really started, a few weeks ago. So it's AAA versus MLW. We're going to have that coming up as they've wrapped up the Philadelphia tapings. So there's that. And I got to give credit. And NWA, they've been doing some creative things to kind of keep things up, some free content, watch-alongs, things like that, trying to continue to be engaged. Since they didn't get the Crockett Cup, I'm not going to get them to do the Crockett Cup. I'm not going to get the tapings after the Crockett Cup. So all that is just, you know, out the window for right now. And then you got to ask yourself of, you know, they've been also putting up some other stuff. They put up Paul Bosch's Houston Wrestling, which is going to be interesting to take a look at. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but I saw a little bit of clips of Gino Hernandez and Andre the Giant. So it's a good classic wrestling and promos and stuff. So which I'm going to look forward to watching that when I get some free time. That's good. At least we got that to work off of. Because then again, I'm looking what out there is out there for sports, and it's like athletes talking about athletes. There's no sports. And when the celebrities are out there and they're trying to just do certain things, well, singers can sing and, you know, play music and do like in living room concerts, things like that. But the celebrities, how are they going to entertain if they don't have all the people to do their makeup, all the people to do the production, direction, writing, grips, all the things to make a show put together? You know, you're really seeing people that are stripped down when it comes to programming, how tough it is for them to keep up. So people have obviously gone more to watching shows where you're seeing shiny, happy people, game shows. You know, you're seeing news reports because people need to be informed and they can't help watching doom and gloom. Or they're escaping the Netflix or Amazon like I have, right? Or, you know, whatever. It's been tough. Or for me, I've just been keeping myself busy with content. Let me tell you what I've been doing as of late. Because I've been so proud of what I've been doing myself. I've been working so damn hard on content. I've recorded, 5 interviews from a Broadcasters Podcast, which is one I also do over at broadcasterspodcast.com. It's all about the media industry, and I get to talk to some really cool people. So I do that. It's a little business type thing, so it's not so much wrestling at all. So I got that to go and work off of. Then I have When I'm Not Podcasting, and that's a series I haven't talked much about. That show I actually do, or it's just things that I don't talk about that is not wrestling related, and it's not anything to do with what will be going on in the regular day-to-day things. Like it's stuff that I would talk about that might be outside of the scope that I would never bring up on the Wrestling is Real podcast, right? It's not wrestling. It's not media. It would be maybe sometimes media, sometimes related, but really more times than not, I don't make it that way. So if I look at the playlist right now of what I've been doing lately, so I've done a lot of different videos, 44 as a matter of fact, and just in the last 3 weeks, I've done like 10 of them. So first off, I have Safe Sex Dating and the Coronavirus, which is the whole deal about this Vox column that this guy was writing about, can you still have safe sex and can you still date in this pandemic? And there's a lot of that. A lot of online dating stuff I talk about. I talk about the OnlyFans and Is My Girl creating coronavirus cash flow for unemployed female workers, things like that. The news coverage going on, because I'm always bashing against, for getting good journalism out there. I talk about that. So there's all that going on. I'm just going to say, what the hell? One of my videos got deleted? Get the fudge out of here. How did that happen? Oh, well, I'll get that out of here. Anyways, keep in mind, it's at youtube.com/jbrasco951. One of my videos got deleted, bastards. youtube.com/jbrasco951. That's where you go. So I have a lot of videos up there for you to go and check out. And you can actually see my puss on camera in front of a nice little King of Podcast backdrop that I have set up here in the man cave. So you can actually see me on camera do that. I actually have one video that is part of When I'm Not Podcasting where I reviewed Chris Benoit's Dark Side of the Ring, the documentary. I did do that on video, and then I put it on the podcast a few weeks ago. So I got that to work off of. The only other stuff I've been watching besides a few wrestling shows right now, the wrestling content, my wrestling diet consists of Raw, Smackdown, which is really same as always in the background. I haven't watched Impact Wrestling a little bit. I am a little behind on that. I need to kind of catch up on shows. I can find them where I can go watch them on delay. I'm about 3-4 weeks back. So I'm going to catch up on those. I just wanted to have something to watch where I could just binge at some point instead of going to where everybody else goes, like Tiger King or something like that, right? So I got that to work off of. Then, so I have that, and, I'm doing a lot of stuff for the Cannabis Radio Project, which is full-time, my Webmaster Radio stuff, which is all internet stuff. We're doing some cool things there. Been very busy. And so one thing I can't do is I can't do certain jobs that I normally try to do. I'm trying to actually find some extra work to kind of keep the cash flow coming in, because I can always use more. The hustle never stops. I can't stop being busy. I can't stop trying to make funds. So I've been trying hard to get the internet stuff going on a little bit more, because I could use a lot of help here to keep things going and to go ahead and, monetize what I'm putting on here. So, I'm trying to put out good, worthwhile content for all of you. So I hope you'll enjoy it. So first off, you'll always see me posting what I'm doing over at Twitter at King of Podcasts. The Facebook page is Wrestling is Real Podcast or King of Podcasts. I have both of those Facebook pages you can look at for yourselves. And Instagram, I also got one on Instagram. I just don't use it too much, but every once in a while I'll put something fun or interesting in up there. So I got all that. And then I have ways you can actually help out the show. Remember, you can go to the kingofpodcasts.com. Hopefully I get the website changed around. I want the kingofpodcasts.com site to be the profile, like the bio and all that good stuff. And then I'm going to take WrestlingIsReal.com and make that the sole page for the Wrestling is Real podcast. And Broadcasters Podcast, I need to put it on the .com, which I've already had, but I haven't had a chance to move it over yet. So I got to work on that too. A lot of things to work on. So there we go. So with that said, I have all that to work off of. And it's, been busy. I kept myself fun. One more thing I can do. So like I said, subscribe to my channel, jbrasco951 on YouTube, or just do a search for King of Podcasts on YouTube. You'll find me there. I don't have the URL to yet because I need to get 100 subscribers. So I need your help to get to 100 subscribers so I can change the name out, make it easy for everybody to go and find the show. So I hope you'll consider that. In the meantime, I have a PayPal, have a Cash App. You can go and look for those links on the website, kingofpodcasts.com. And most importantly, the easiest way to help out the show, more than anything, is if you go to my Amazon link, my special Amazon link. You can find all the things Amazon that you need. I shop there, so should you. kingofamazon.com. kingofamazon.com. That is the best way to go ahead and reach out and help the show, because in anything you buy from Amazon, you normally do. And there's a lot of things you can't find at the grocery store. So you can definitely find by going to kingofamazon.com. You go there, go to Amazon, and find what you need. But then when you go into that link, you're actually helping out the show. I get to make a little money just by you going to that link. That's all I'm asking you to do is shop for Amazon at my link, kingofamazon.com. When you do that, you're going to help me out greatly. And I hope you'll consider it. I could really use the help. So please do kingofamazon.com. That's the best way to help out. So one of the main stories I want to talk about tonight comes from Uprocks because there's been a lot of talk from there and from PW Insider talking about the TV tapings going on with all the wrestling shows. So let's tell you what I have. WLW Court Bauer did go on a podcast and did talk about how they are trying to continue to work things out to continue to do tapings. They're going to find ways to continue to do tapings because they're making good headway with beIN Sports. The episode that had Mance Warner MJF for the Loser Leaves MLW match had the third highest rating of any show. The other one I think was Mance Warner and the Barbed Wire match. So people are really catching that show. I don't know how big of an audience it's getting, but beIN Sports is getting a good audience for wrestling, which is what they wanted. And who knows if MLW gets a deal to go to a bigger, to a bigger platform, which they might do down the line. That could be something someday that we might have a chance to do. I don't get a chance to watch beIN Sports because they took it off my YouFirst account, so I had to watch it on YouTube, which is fine. It's up there Saturday afternoons, or no, Monday nights, right? Is it a Monday? Oh, no, Saturday. That's right. Saturday afternoons, I can find it there, and I watch it on Saturday nights, and it's good to watch. Good stuff. Also uncensored, which is really great. Okay, so Emily Pratt, writing with uprocks.com, says WWE and Impact Wrestling will reportedly have TV tapings this week. So we're going to talk about what they have all done to go and do this. So I'm going to read the story out real quick and do a little commentary on it. So here's what you got. Now, we remember last week, AEW said that they're already taping shows for the next few weeks. I forget if it's the next couple of months they actually taped at QT Marshall's gym in Atlanta, Georgia, I'll say in Georgia somewhere. So the idea was they taped a whole lot of content leading up to the semifinals of the TNT Championship Tournament. So they have other stuff, which, by the way, they ran a certain amount of matches. And AEW, for its credit, they're pushing out and did a lot of promo work for Jon Moxley versus Jake Hager for the World Heavyweight title for the AEW World Championship coming up next week. And they did a fantastic job of pushing that match. Like, they did several different segments, really doing a good profile. It's just a damn good job they did with that. Really well done. Just good content. And made Jake Hager looks like a beast in this here. Same thing for Jon Moxley. Just looked like a good build up for a match, a good behind the bell type TNA type thing. Really good stuff. Then, got to tell you, they had probably the best women's match. Now, there was a great women's match going on with the ladder match for the number one contendership, which Io Shirai won on NXT tonight. I didn't see the Ciampa Gargano match because I was watching Dynamite. I'm going to go back and watch that. But I'll tell you what. Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida probably did one of the best matches of the women's division that I've seen. It was really great. Fantastic work. I mean, Britt Baker was a trooper to get pummeled like she did. I mean, she got a broken nose and she stayed with it. That was really good. Anyway, of the match, we learned about Johnny Gargano wins over Tommaso Ciampa, hitting Tommaso with a fairy tale ending for the pin of the win. So we'll talk about that. I'll see if I got any comments about that. I'll bring that up next week. But so Gargano gets the win, which is probably where you want to go with it. Either which way, they continue to keep that feud going, and they brought it back. And I'll take a look and see what they did. I would be interested in how they pulled it off. But like I said, there was that, and then you have some really, the wrestling was not that bad to me. I mean, Raw was kind of just pedestrian and was sluggish. But I was kind of interested in how they decided to bring the Big Show back which was ending up being like the last match they recorded for WrestleMania night at the Performance Center. So they did have that match afterwards, and the way they positioned it for Raw the next night was a very interesting. So there you go there. But Drew McIntyre, regardless of people being scared of thinking Big Show was actually going to beat Drew McIntyre and be champ, no. So Drew McIntyre, they wanted to make it where he looks strong. He immediately has Brock Lesnar and then has to go and take on another big opponent. Slams Big Show. So, Drew McIntyre looks like a stud after it's all said and done. Regardless of what, people could say about Big Show coming back, right? At least it looks strong. Now, I don't know how they're going to do that with SmackDown. It's what they're going to have to do. But, they did put a lot of matches on for after WrestleMania. I'll give them that. Did they put any matches on previously? Well, they just showed like an extended tease of the Boneyard match. But again, the Boneyard match is only going to have so much staying power afterwards. But one thing I see for sure, and I'm going to talk about the tapings. I'll talk about that in a second. But what is interesting is there's a report that Undertaker's not done with the company, and it looks like they found something that's going to keep working for Undertaker to keep coming back in wrestling. So some people tried to hint he was going to retire. WrestleVotes is reporting from 3 different sources that whenever Undertaker returns, he will be back as American Badass, following like people saw during the Boneyard match with AJ Styles. The match was for Taker to be presented as strong because he wanted to redeem himself from some of the lackluster matches he had. The one with Goldberg where he suffered a concussion is the one that sticks out the most. So in the Last Ride docuseries, which, by the way, WWE put out a lot of good documentaries, and I didn't get a chance to watch those. Been busy. I've been watching the wrestling, not so much the documentaries. I heard the Edge one is fantastic. I heard the Undertaker one's fantastic. There's all that to go and look at. So Taker goes into detail about his injuries, acknowledges he doesn't have much time left as an active wrestler. At 55, it seems that the time is near for his retirement, but he'll be getting 30 years with the company coming up November. Doesn't know when he'll be back in the ring. Always does wrestle the Saudi Arabia events. Next one's not until the fall. And Survivor Series will be his 30th anniversary, so yeah, they'll probably do something to honor him that night. And maybe we'll have crowds and we'll have some kind of normalcy by November. We're going to only hope, right? So there you go. A couple of things they talked about with the Boneyard match that got brought up after the fact. It took 8 hours to film. So Jeremy Borash was heavily involved with the Ultimate Deletion segments in TNA, and he was involved in the production of the Boneyard match. And Triple H and Michael Hayes were also involved in the shooting. Michael Hayes was the guy as in charge, but Triple H did a lot. There was the 2 key guys. Jeremy Borash was involved as far as shooting and everything like that. But so basically the storyboard was Triple H and Michael Hayes. They did a damn good job. As we all said, we all enjoyed it, every minute of it, every second of it, as a matter of fact. All right, down to the tapings. Let's do it. So AEW has already taped several months ahead to keep going with things. So they're taped, like, I guess, 4 or 6 weeks ahead, something like that, from what I'm guessing. And that, again, they taped all the way up to the finals of the TNT Championship Tournament. So they know what that is right now, but it was a closed set. Nobody could say what's going on. So that's good. Again, no spoilers, which is the best part of these tape shows. You're not getting spoilers at all, which is very helpful. So now, for WWE, they plan on taping the episodes of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT leading up to the May 10th Money in the Bank pay-per-view this week. So we're going to get all that stuff is going to be taped beforehand to get up to Money in the Bank, and they'll figure out Money in the Bank then. So again, they're doing the TV taping schedule that the other shows do. They're just taping bulk content. And I'm telling you, I think the one thing that's got to be said when it comes to WWE, when they're doing this tape content, even though the ratings are not doing that well, I think when they see how good the company does producing and taping content, I think they're going to realize how well it would work out for them to do more produced content. What they need to do more of is the promos that they're doing like they are, or a little bit different look. If they could do some more produced content, they're not going to be doing anything scripted and all, cinematic and theatrical like they did at WrestleMania, but I can see them doing some things that are a little bit more like that. They should step up the production on this and take the time to kind of build that out, because I think if they do that, it would help them out greatly. And I think they could build some good production stuff out that would really stand out for them and really keep people glued in. Because I think they need to do that. And I'm not saying it's going to work or not, because even with AEW with good content and NXT with good content, all the wrestling's suffering. Because AEW took a hit in the ratings, so did NXT, so did everybody. Every bit of wrestling is taking a hit right now. And there's not much of a reason why. It's not that the content's not... for Raw, it's about what it normally is. I think they got to get rid of all this archive stuff. I think after WrestleMania, now WrestleMania season, they're going to have to stop doing it, because they could find stuff that was related to WrestleMania to build storylines, which they did. Because I'll tell you, seeing the John Cena Bray Wyatt match back over again helped a lot to further the storyline of John Cena, Bray Wyatt, which they played into the Firefly Funhouse match, which that was a good thing. But after that, I mean, you can't just go into storylines now and do that. Plus, you have so many different young stars you don't have a lot of content from. So what are you going to do? You're not going to run Raw and SmackDown matches. You're not going to run anything that was most recent. I think you're going to just have to find some creative ways to fill the time. And I don't think you need to make it all in-ring. Obviously, they don't want to tape that much in-ring, and they don't want to keep the matches that long. So you have to find some other things to do to keep things up. I don't know what that is, but this is where the company needs to figure out, okay, what do we do that's going to make good quality time on camera? What can you do here to kind of build things up? I don't know what that's going to be, but they have to figure something out. Because the empty arena stuff is not that great. It's adequate for the situation. But I think they're going to have to do something else where they're going to have to keep things away. That's what they're going to have to do. They have no choice. They have to do something like that. AEW has been watchable because you do have some of the people outside the ring that are watching and stuff. So you got a little bit of that. David Chid, you got the commentary, which is very different. You know, AEW with Chris Jericho on commentary this week was great. Schiavone back on play-by-play has been fantastic. It's like he hasn't missed a beat. Sounds a little older, but he's great. I always thought Schiavone was great. So you got that going for you. MLW's got good content. I mean, again, MLW and Impact Wrestling have been able to continue to do content with crowds, even though they're not big crowds, but they have crowds in their shows. And they've had, this is where the bulk of the content they have in advance has helped and been taken advantage of. They've been able to milk that for right now. Who knows what they'll do next? So that's good. Now, back to what's being said by PW Insider and Fightful Select. They both say, again, they're going to do tapings. WWE filming will begin April 10th and go through April 16th. So they're going to tape for 6 days right there. How are they going to do it? PW Insider has it beginning on the 8th of the 9th. The pre-tape shows leading up to WrestleMania. These episodes of WWE TV will take place in a performance center with a closed set. And they're reportedly changing the ropes, turnbuckles, ring canvas between every match to try to prevent the talent from contracting COVID-19. PW Insider also reports that now this is where Impact Wrestling is coming in because they have to figure out how they're going to do things. They're going to tape 6 and 8 weeks worth of TV in Nashville, Tennessee. So tapings may include Impact's next pay-per-view Rebellion, which was originally scheduled for April 19th in New York. So both WWE and Impact will be taping in states that have stay-at-home orders. Non-essential businesses are closed, but pro wrestling isn't on the list of essential activities, so the companies might have gotten special exemptions on how they did this. But regardless, they're all taping shows. No matter what the permits promotions, wrestlers could still spread, so people are not displaying symptoms, which is one thing we haven't heard at all. And I'm sure the companies are keeping under tight wraps. They probably wouldn't even allow anybody to say anything, which will be quite interesting. What I will say is, you know, the wrestlers have been doing a lot to keep themselves busy and do stuff. I will say the one thing I thought was actually kind of cool was the brush challenge. I forget what it's called. So they had a thing where all the different women superstars all did a thing where they were, you know, before makeup and dolled up in their ring gear with makeup on. So they show, okay, this woman is here, and then all of a sudden she takes the brush, puts it into the camera, and then automatically it montages into her being all dolled up, looking like she was ready for the ring. And it was really cool to see all that. I actually liked all that. It was actually really cool. So there's that they were doing. And I think I got some play. I think a lot of people actually watched that. And I actually enjoyed it. I watched it a couple of times, so it was really cool. So there's that to work off of, right? Now, there's a few things that are going on after WrestleMania that it's getting to be a little bit of an issue because several stars right now, because of issues, are not able to come back. So one of the reasons why Rhea Ripley might have lost the NXT Women's title to Charlotte Flair is because, according to what Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer, is saying, is that, first of all, Charlotte's going to help NXT supposedly help boost ratings for the show. PW Insider's Mike Johnson said that Ripley's visa expired and she needed to fly back to Australia to get it renewed. And given current travel restrictions, she wouldn't be able to fly back to the United States until travel restrictions are lifted. Now, Meltzer says the story was denied to him. But Meltzer says, I'm double checking on this, but one person high up just denied that to me. Again, I'm not saying Mike Johnson's wrong. And this company, the left and the right hand rarely know what the other's doing. But the person I checked would know the creative reason given which Charlotte was to NXT was for ratings help. But now another person high up said it's inaccurate and she's in Orlando right now. Clearly, if she's not able to be checked, people need to know they don't know. So conflicting stories right there, but there's a couple of reasons why we might see why Rhea Ripley was dropped the belt to Charlotte. There's that. The other thing is that yes, Jordan Devlin, that's the other person. He is stuck in Ireland and he cannot travel back to the United States because of travel restrictions. So right now there's going to be a new Cruiserweight Championship tournament where a new interim tournament champion, an interim Cruiserweight champion will be crowned at a tournament for NXT. And, we're doing that because, again, with all the situations that are going on, it's getting to be tough. Not easy for everybody. That's really very important. Oh, that's what it was, by the way. The Don't Rush Challenge was what the female superstars did for, that was online that people actually did. By the way, New Japan Pro Wrestling has canceled shows through May 4th, including Wrestling Donkatsu. So no wrestling through early May for New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's what they're going to be leaving right there. Court Bauer, actually, I told you about the podcast he was on, talking about what's going on with him. So at the moment, he does say that they continue to have a relationship with Dragon Gate and Pro Wrestling Noah, which is good for them. And they're going to be airing the MLW AAA Super Series on MLW Fusion. So they'll at least have that to work off of to continue to have content going forward. And that's where we are today. So when it comes to wrestling, again, just be thankful what we got was what we got, man, because there's not much else to work off of. And for those people that are out there that are, my wrestling podcast brethren, that might be upset and still not be satisfied with things going on. Man, I am a glass half full kind of person at this point. When things are back to normal and we don't have any excuses like the pandemic to work off of, I think my critical self will be back in full form. I think we can have a reason for that. But right now, this wrestling off season, we're lucky if we're going to get, I'm wondering if we're going to get SummerSlam this year. I think we are. I think we're going to get past all this to get through SummerSlam. I don't see why we couldn't. I can see that happening. Now, I really think worst case scenario happens with all this, and my own opinion is I'd like to see things start opening back up a little bit by the end of this month, April 30th. Or at least May 15th, May 30th. Like, I'd like to think that by Memorial Day, people are going to be able to go out and be able to go to work. And if we have to have some precautions in place, then that's fine. But I think people should be able to get back to work and be able to do their own thing and, do what they have to do to kind of help out, which would be kind of nice. So let's see what happens there. I'm hoping that's what happens. It'd be nice to go and see that go up and people can actually live their lives, man. Because, wouldn't it be nice to go back out to a live event, go watch a wrestling show or whatever you want? I would love that. I hope I get a chance to do that at some point. It'd be nice to get back to that and hear crowds, roaring about stuff again. And it would be great to see all that again. And I hope they really do consider it at some point. So I ought to take a moment. As always, I always tell people to go ahead and look at the Facebook page, facebook.com/wrestlingisreal. Famelo Oagail, welcome. Thanks for listening to the podcast, and thanks for checking in. And thank you all for listening to another Wrestling is Real podcast. Again, if you need me to start blathering my mouth, listen, I did a show last week, and I did 2 post shows on Saturday and Sunday night, day 1, day 2 of the WrestleMania recap. I recommend all of you to go and check it out for yourselves. I give pretty much straightforward analysis of what I thought about all the matches, and I hope all of you will check that out. And we'll appreciate, I'm going to keep it short and sweet, because unless there's some things to really bring up and talk about, I will keep it like that because, there's only so much wrestling to talk about right now. There might be some stuff on Impact Wrestling I'll bring up probably on the next show. I'll get some chance to go and binge watch through all of that. But in the meantime, come back for another Wrestling is Real podcast because wrestling needs us.
Thank you for listening to the Wrestling is Real podcast, brought to you by KingofAmazon.com. For more information on how to subscribe to the show, how to share the Wrestling is Real podcast to listeners like you, and check out the latest wrestling headlines, go to WrestlingIsReal.com. That's WrestlingIsReal.com.